Welcome in, welcome. Hello, hi. Hello. Welcome in. I'm gonna do, here we go. Yay. Okay, Michelle.
Yay, we did it.
Yay.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn up your volume a little bit. Yay, I'm so happy to be here with you.
I know, I'm happy to be here with you.
It's very
My,
exciting.
um, how's your morning going so far?
My morning is going well. I have been doing a detox and my level of energy was way down, and this morning I finally woke up. I'm like, "Oh, my headache's gone, my aches are gone. Woo, I feel so much better." So yay.
Well, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know more. I'll have to ask you more about that later.
7 days. It was not fun.
Um,
Yay.
wow.
So I'm
Okay.
Michelle. Should we introduce ourselves real quick because we're both on each other's, I think? I don't know. I don't know
Yes,
what's
yeah. Tell me about you.
So I'm Michelle. I'm a 4-1 generator, and you are.
I'm Rebecca. I'm a 1-3 mental projector.
And we have decided to kind of combine efforts here and come on to do some lives to share our desire to share knowledge with other people, right?
Yes. I'm excited. Yeah, because we were talking about doing a podcast series, and then it just kind of hit like, why don't we go live
Yeah.
and share it that way?
Which I love because going live is not my it's not my thing. So as a 4-1, that's not my natural thing. So I'm kind of glad to be doing this with you. So this is awesome.
Oh, hey, Victoria. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm excited. I know. Thank you for letting me be part of your network or for inviting me in to be part of your network. I always love being around four-line people.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love being around 3-line people because you guys are fun. You're willing to try anything, right?
Yes, that's true. See, and I always appreciate someone's perspective on that because I do go full martyr sometimes. Like, why me? And blah, blah, blah. And so when somebody has this fun perspective of it, it helps me to shift. So I appreciate that.
Oh, heck yeah, no problem. I mean, and I love that too because here, it's funny because as you study human design and then you start to actually live it, you integrate it, right? You find all those things that people have always told you about yourself, but I didn't necessarily believe how fixed I was on certain things and how fluid I was on. I am fluid on quite a few things, but what a fixed being and having a 4 line, I can be quite fixed, like being disturbed, like when I'm working. Whew,
Oh, yes.
my husband had to learn that lesson with me pretty quickly. I used to have my office kind of with no doors in it. There was no doors in this room that I was utilizing, and it drove me nuts because he would just come down, and he's a 3-5 man gen. He would
Mhm.
just come down and just start. I could be in the middle of a phone call, and he would just come in and barrel in and start talking. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of the things I'm here to work through is how is it that I can communicate with him just because I have no door doesn't mean that there are no boundaries.
Right. Yes.
so, so, yes,
Oh
yes,
man,
yes,
yes.
yes.
The joys of marriage and the lessons it teaches us.
How true is flipping that? It's so freaking true. It's true. It's true. So today
Victoria.
we wanted to talk about Chiron, right?
Yes. And I just wanted to say, because I got a couple comments, Victoria said whenever she has an idea, she goes to a 3-line. That makes me happy
Oh,
too.
I
And we
love.
have a 5-1 self-projected projector in the house.
Woo-hoo!
So that's awesome. But
Oh,
yes, we're here to chat about Chiron a little bit more. Um, so y'all, at any point, if you have questions about something, just pop it in the chat. Um, Always welcome to share your questions. But we were talking about this a little bit on our own, and we thought this would be a great thing to share with others because Chiron doesn't get that
mhm.
much airtime. Like we don't really talk about it.
No, and I found that, through I've studied astrology too before I studied human design. And I found that Chiron is really, by age 50, if you haven't dealt with what you came here to heal, it's gonna come and smack you in the face. it can be quite in your face if you haven't taken the time to understand what your Chiron is, right? And even like when I pull it up on my charts in human design, um, it isn't something that's standard that comes in. You have to find the correct um, human design chart to show the Chiron. So no, not a lot of people talk about it. Do you want me to tell a little bit more about what Chiron is? Probably should start with that.
Yes, I gotta tell you, somebody said they moved to their Chiron DC line and it rocked
Oh,
me. She said it rocked me.
that would rock
I
you.
can only imagine. Wow. I hope you've moved out of it. Go to like your Venus line and heal a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yes, tell us more about Chiron as a place or like
Well, yeah, and you know about it too. It's just this matter, and I'm going to do it very, very briefly because I'm not somebody who likes. I've read and studied on the mythology, but it bores me, so I don't swipe. What does it say? Swipe. Telling me to swipe. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing on this. Okay, so Chiron is it's a centaur actually that was really wounded, and it just kept doing its thing while it was wounded. And it knew that it didn't matter what his wound was, he could still be he I'm not explaining that well. He he was somebody who was wounded by somebody he loved. And I think that's where it started at. So in astrology, how we look at it is it's the place that you probably didn't heal. If you believe in reincarnation, it's something that you probably didn't heal in your past life that you brought forward in this life. And you said, this is the time I'm going to heal this one. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to, and to bring it forward to me so that I can see it more efficiently and I can take the time to heal it. And what happens is by the time someone hits their 50th birthday is when Chiron goes all the way around your complete astrology chart and hits directly on your natal. And that's what we call a return. We have your natal Chiron, it sits, and then throughout your whole life until you hit 50, it goes here. So there's different times in which Chiron's kind of activated in your astrology chart from 0 to 50 that you're going to feel some wounds that will need to be felt. But when people really understand what it is that they're here to heal, it almost empowers, and I want to know what you think of this, it almost empowers them to take a look more at their life theme and intertwine the two of them, because a lot of the times I see that there is a connection between the life theme and your Chiron. Like when you morph the two together, you might possibly see a new life path for you. Not always. But last night I had an experience with that with a client. But what do you think? What's your understanding of Chiron?
Yes, okay, that's how I understand it too. The mythology is interesting. Yeah, he got wounded, and I think I remember them saying like he was a healer, but he
Yeah,
couldn't heal himself. And I thought that was
that's what it was. You're
it
right.
that felt very projector to me, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so he's just like in this pain forever and then trades places with somebody somehow. I was listening to a podcast about it just the other day, so
Okay.
it's like fresher on my mind. But that is what's really interesting to me about it, how you have this wound, and even as a healer, like sometimes it's the hardest to heal yourself. And so
Yeah.
highlighting this little aspect of your
Yeah.
chart can be so nurturing.
It can be so nurturing. Hello, Lauren and God and A that joined on my side. We're talking about Chiron today for those of you that just got on with human design and how to utilize all that. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder of how that happens. And if anybody knows what their Chiron is and wants to pop in their Chiron number, let's just deal, if you have two Chiron numbers, just deal with the one on the personality side, which would be the right-hand side of the chart. Do we even have a picture of what Chiron looks like so people would know?
Well, let me pull up because if you go on my website, it'll tell you your. Wait, no, it's supposed to tell the Chiron. Where did it go? Hold on. Yeah, here we go. So here's my chart, and I'm gonna zoom in.
Mine. I'm not as well versed. Anyways, it looks like a K, you guys, with a circle at the bottom of it. Yeah, so it looks like a K with a circle on it.
Hey,
So you want to
Tyler.
go onto your human design chart and take a look at what it looks like. She's got it on her screen. Of course, we're dual, so who knows how much they can see.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's always at the bottom, like below Pluto. If you go to my website and you run it there, then it'll be under Pluto.
yeah, mine on my site, it doesn't do that. Mine actually is in between. I think it's right below. Yeah, again, I don't have my chart in front of me. So yeah, I can't tell you.
Okay.
It's all good.
Look for the little key.
Yeah, look for the little key and find out your number, because if you want us to kind of go over what your Chiron, what it is you came here to heal in this lifetime, because again, it's we have Saturn returns that happen to all of us, right? A lot of people are very familiar with that, but the Chiron is actually that aspect that, for me, what I've understood it to be is how there's a wound. Think of an open scab that you always have that just never heals and never heals and never heals, because we are taught in our society, in our culture. I don't feel like we've ever been taught to deal with the emotional trauma sometimes of things that have happened to us, right?
Absolutely.
And I used to do a lot of past life regressions, and I would find that sometimes their past life regression would actually correlate with their Chiron, which was kind of cool to start to see before I stopped doing that. Yeah, so you can sometimes witness it if you do the quantum healing hypnosis. So can I share one that happened last night, or did somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just about to ask for more on that last night when someone okay. Oh, hey Brandy, sorry I missed yours. Brandy says hers is gate 56.
Okay.
But yeah, tell me the story first. Tell me the story first, because I'm so curious.
Okay, so coaching a woman, and she's a realtor, and she is the head of an office. She got hired in to do she knew she's a generator. She knew she's a pure generator. She's a 5-1 pure generator, and her Chiron was gate 51. And it's interesting because this job that she took was causing her to do what we called cold calling to get new agents in. There's a word for that. What's it called? Recruiting. And it wasn't part of her job when she first started, right? And all of a sudden they threw it on to her, and she has been getting into trouble at work because she can't seem to get herself to do it. And so she said, I know I want to do it, but I literally cannot do it. I get in the office, I do everything else. And she goes, and I've tried every trick or trade. So I said, let me look at your Chiron. So we looked at her Chiron, it's gate 51. I said, well, this is really interesting because it's really about, you're here to kind of make an impact. Now, you know all Ra's terms. So what's gate 51 with Ra?
Shock.
Yeah. It's here to make an impact. And it's somebody who sometimes is willing to take a risk at doing things, right? And remember, this is her Chiron. 51 is her Chiron, which means she struggles, even though she's a 5-1, she's struggling with figuring out, like, can I really do this? Can I really make an impact here? Like, should I make an impact? Because it felt out of her range. So we talked about it for a while, and I said, it's interesting because you can see, you get a little agitated, which is kind of the shadow of gate 51. Agitation can happen. And 51 is also about being competitive. I mean, when they're asking her to find other people to bring in, and it's a very competitive gate, and this is her Chiron, it's what she's here to heal. Then you also have to know that with this particular client, she has an open throat center.
Wow. Okay.
She's really worked through a lot of her how it is that she communicates with the world. But the one thing she is she's an advocate for other people. Open throats are advocates for other people, and they're good at it.
Yeah.
And so all we did last night with gate 51 as her Chiron is we worked through the concept of, you are here to be an advocate for your office, and you love your office mates. You love all of your coworkers, right? And she said, I do. I said, so you need to change the word from being a recruiter to being an advocate. You're being an advocate to bring more people into your office. And she looked at me and she said, that shifted everything. And I said, cool. That's really awesome. Now we have to see, we'll get back, we'll report later on it, right? Um, but it's this idea that it's an intense feeling for her to even go into competition. She always has this with gate 51. She had this hesitation with it to like pause her to say, "I got to run the other way because that makes me competitive, and I don't want to be competitive." In fact, before I looked at her Chiron, because I've worked with her for a little bit, she always told me, "I'm a realtor, but I don't believe in competition. I run the other way if there's competition." So I think that's interesting.
Yes, but that makes sense with the advocacy aspect because she's not trying to compete with her other realtors. She's trying to advocate it for her office mates and for her clients. I love that. Yes.
Right? Yeah. So it's a pretty cool one. And it's a pretty, I mean, it's an impactful. 51's a powerhouse coming out of the ego center. Let me see if I can show. I don't know if
Ooh.
it shows, but 51 is right here out of the ego center. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Anyways, yeah. Okay. So what was the other? So anything else that you've got on that one, honey, that you want to share? Your insights
I
on?
think that's beautiful because 51 can be such an interesting one for people to have in any placement when they hear
Yeah.
shock and competition. Because I've known people with that full channel and they're like, I'm not really that competitive. So switching it to advocacy is really interesting to me. I like that perspective. And someone just commented saying that their Chiron placement is 7, gate 7,
Mhm.
and her sun gate is gate 7 as well.
Oh, I've had that happen before too with clients. It's always interesting when it's both because then to me, then I think that there's layers to 7 for her or him or they
Yeah.
or they. What do you think about that one?
Oh my gosh, because 7 is direction of the self. Wait, is it direction of the self? Hold on. Where's my.
Well, it's about, being to me, I always call it the democratic leader. It's somebody who
Yes,
knows
because it
is,
goes to the 31. Yeah, it's all about guidance. It's the role of the self in interaction.
yeah,
Uh,
coming out of, and it's coming out of, for anybody else that doesn't know, it's coming out of the G Center, Love and Direction Center. Yeah,
yeah, I have gate 31 here, so it's just below this one.
yeah.
Um, so what comes to you for gate 7 as a Chiron?
So I would say that because it's also in her sun sign, like there'll be layers of it. Like I think for the healing Chiron part would be, are there times that you're shying away from being a leader in a situation where you know that you could be a strong advocate, that you could be a collaborator and be a big influencer because you're afraid that you're stepping on other people's toes? Because I think sometimes people with sevens, um, they know that they're a leader, but the beauty in 7 is they know, they have a sense about everybody else around them. They kind of can know, like, well, you're going to be good at that. But they're going to be terrible at this. So it's kind of learning to like, we need to taper what people aren't good at, right? Because who wants to work for a leader? Because we've all had bosses that told us everything that we were sucky at, right? Instead of building us up to say, but you're really good at this. Let's focus upon, you working on this side of the project, right? So for me, I think the Chiron would be that making sure that you're taking the time to feel your way, because Love and Direction Center to me is still a very feely area, right? Of if I've ever felt like I've overstepped my boundaries or I haven't stepped up to the plate enough, it's always going to be your balance to know when it is for you to speak. Because if she has that full channel, that kind of changes it, right? A little bit. But
For sure.
yeah, so understanding for herself that it's okay to be seen as a leader, but what type of a leader are you? Would always be the question. Read your room, know your environment. Are you supposed to be a leader that's supposed to be a little bit more active in doing things, or in certain situations, and other times you're going to have to decrease it? What are you going to say?
So yeah, they're commenting. I forgot they're self-projected projector, and this is their channel, the 731.
Oh,
And they said they're afraid to be a leader. They always take the safe background role, which makes sense to me as a projector. I feel like projectors, a lot of times, especially self-projected or mental, because we have so much openness in the body,
yeah,
it's like scary because we've been conditioned so deeply.
yeah,
And with this 731, also with the leadership aspect, it's about the collective. It's part of the collective circuitry, and it's part of helping the collective to move where it needs to go. Like the leader, the general, I always picture a general with this one. Like it's speaking to the army to tell us where we're going to go.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's perfect. This is a perfect example how I was talking about at the beginning, where sometimes this is kind of also part of your life path, which if it's her sun sign, it's part of her life path is to step up and to be aware that you are here to, and I guess I could appreciate that because I'm a generator, seeing a projector that, owie can happen because sometimes you guys are getting batted around like we don't want to hear, we don't want to know, but it's this idea of like knowing the timing and knowing that although she's got the full channel, I would assume it means that she really has to wait for the invitation, but that sometimes her just being present enough to say with her energy, without her words, I know what to do here. I always find projectors, and tell me if this is true because I'm not one. If a projector really does know something and they're in like a group setting, and I find that whenever they try to interject at all, sometimes it gets slapped away.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like just standing there very quietly because all of a sudden the room will finally look at you and say, oh, wait a minute, what do you think? Because you haven't spoken. Is that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you, even as a kid, like this reminds me, I would always want to answer the question. I was like kind of
Yeah.
Hermione. I'm like, I know. But if I wanted to answer the question,
Yeah.
I would never get called on. But I remember very distinctly one time I was like, I'm going to pretend like I'm not paying attention. That's when the teacher called on me because I'm just like, but I was paying
Yes.
attention and I knew the answer.
Yes. Yes. And I think there's a lot of power in the silence of it.
Yes. So yeah, it for sure because it's about that recognition invitation, and that really speaks to the energetics of it. I feel like too, where like as projectors we're told wait for recognition invitation, and that feels really vague, but this is part of it where it's like creating that energy that's
Yeah.
standing in that power and saying, no, I'm a projector. And then they were saying too, they have the 2343 plus the 731. Those are their two main channels.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so there's a lot of power in your voice, a lot of power in your guidance and your leadership, but it's
Yeah.
very specific. So the more that you stand still and stand in your strength and say, like, I'm the guru on the mountain. Like you've got to come to me because that's how valuable my words are.
Yes.
That's when energy
Yes.
starts to shift. But that's hard
Yeah.
as a projector because we want that recognition and we've probably been trying to make that happen our whole life. So it's that transition time.
Exactly.
Tyler said that's why he slept through classes for the same reason.
I love it. So for the new people that are popping on, if you know your Chiron in your human design chart, that's what we're talking about today. You can pop in your number and we can discuss a little bit about the wounded, healing the wound that you came in here to heal up for yourself through the eyes of human design. So did that help the person who had gate 7?
Yes, we're taking notes.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So they're excited. Okay, so Lee has gate 59, line 5. Ooh, Lee, that's the gate of sexuality.
Yes, it is. Sunshine.
That's a
Is he a generator?
no, self-projected projector. Another projector beauty. And
Yeah.
he's a very talented intuitive tarot card reader. Actually,
Ooh,
I'm gonna send you his stuff later because I think you'd really enjoy him.
awesome.
Um,
59. It's right down here. It's out of the sacral, everybody. It comes out of the sacral. So what do you think about that one?
okay, hold on, I'm catching up real quick. Okay, so yes, our gate 7 person in all caps said, yes, it did. Thank you. So
Okay, good.
that's really
Yay! That's awesome.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, we've got a few other gates. That's awesome. People are putting them in. Okay, so 59, real quick. We've got that gate of sexuality. It's coming out of the sacral, moving into the solar plexus. This one, I feel like, because I have gate 6, I feel like I can just sense anytime somebody has this gate.
I agree. I got gate 6 too.
Ooh. But okay, so this one's a really fascinating one, especially because Lee's my friend, so I know a little more. But having this, to have the wound be this gate that's its entire purpose is to bond with people
Mhm,
and to build relationships.
mhm.
That feels, I'm like, I don't know. I just want to hug him now. What's
Yeah.
coming to mind for you?
No, the same thing. I mean, of course, I don't know him, but it would, to me, it's always like either there's maybe possibly there is a lack of boundaries for himself, like in feeling protected in getting in either into really intimate relationships or there could be the opposite. I actually work with somebody who had this particular gait, and he would have relations with a lot of people, and he didn't feel good about it, but he didn't understand what boundaries were because he didn't have gates set. He didn't understand what boundaries were, and that had to do with past conditioning, right? It had to do with past wounds, not only from probably his past life but from this current life. So we had to work on what is a boundary, where do you feel safe at, where do you get to cross the line at, right? And I think a lot of times the bonding just has to do with what your profile number is. What is his profile number?
1-4.
Oh, there you go. So he more than likely, 1-4s are like, you need to know somebody before you're going to move into a relationship with them. And if that's not the case, that could be why he needs to work on. It's okay to feel safe before you move forward. You don't need to feel pressured to do something really, really quick in a relationship or getting close with somebody, because it's not always necessarily always sex, right? It's just, sometimes it's the unity of whatever, but it's predominantly it has to do with sex. So and it's a way of like how you're going to feel secure in a relationship is by taking your time to get to know the person and to know what the next steps are. Like I would say at 1-4, you don't necessarily like, probably one night stands are not your thing. And if you did do it, it probably felt very, very out there for you. So I would say how you create your closeness is you get to define how that is and allow it to come to you from there. What do you say about that with Chiron
Well,
healing?
Lee said this absolutely resonates.
Okay.
So that's really hitting with him. I think I'm loving listening to your translations of all of this and how you. Oh, he said, he said, "Woo, honey, you read my soul." And he's from South Carolina, so you got to hear that with a little twang.
All right, I love it. I love how you did that. That's freaking awesome. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
So yes, yes,
Okay.
and again, just because I know him, it's like that hits just from our conversations. That yeah, yeah. Sorry, people are putting more.
Okay.
Let's
Keep
just
going.
go.
Keep
Okay,
going.
so Christina says her Chiron is gate 52.
Okay.
Wait, Tyler, is gate 2 your Chiron? Is that what you're saying? Oh yeah, and then Tyler's gate 2. Okay,
Okay, so we're
so
doing 52 right now,
52.
which is off of the root center collective line. Hmm.
52, 52. Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's the stillness one.
So I would say that maybe this particular person's what it needs to heal is to know that it's okay in the sitting still. Um, oh, sorry. You guys, I'm really bad at like reading things. I have that 4-1, so I can only have one thing at a time. So,
Yeah, and that's fine because yeah.
okay, okay. So, okay, I'm back. 52. Sitting still. Like learning to sit still, especially in our society these days. Like, I just finally got back into my own meditation practices a couple months ago, and I'm telling you, sitting still is the greatest gift we can give one another. And I would say that if that is part of your Chiron, it's okay for you to take the time, even if it feels really chaotically, even if you feel like I don't have the time to do this, to get that focus, to take a moment to go inward, to feel and sense myself more. Um, you'll find that you're probably your grandest insights is when you're just at peace. And I'm not even saying, I think there's so much talk about meditation, about like, oh, some people like, you just got to quiet your mind. Or some people are saying, oh, meditation's like, I talk to everybody. I talk to my guides. I talk to whatever. It doesn't matter how it is that you do it. I would say the premise for somebody with this gate was to allow the quietness to hit for a few seconds, because that's all it's going to take for you, is to take
Yeah.
the time to do it for a few seconds quiet. What do you think?
Yes, when you said that few seconds, it reminded me of Abraham Hicks is always saying all it takes is 17 seconds
Yeah.
to shift your energy.
Yeah.
So even if you could set a timer for 17 seconds and force yourself to sit still, which I've been there too, where it's like it's so hard to sit for even 17 seconds, it feels like forever, but it
Right.
will shift. And she says that she's always trying to do the next thing out of fear of staying still.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's so amazing when they learn, like, okay, that's what the Chiron's about. It's here to teach you. So the minute you do that, like, trust me, the minute you start to embrace this part of you and like say it's safe for me to do it, because think about the wounded healer. Everybody knows, I think a lot of people know about the inner work of doing inner child work, right? Think of it as that to tell, oh, I'm getting chills on this for this person. I want to cry. Um, it's okay to be soft and gentle, and it's okay to slow down and take a breath. In fact, your inner child is just screaming for it. And maybe that's the meditation you do, is that when you feel too overwhelmed that you got to move to the next thing, go find a meditation on YouTube and meet your inner child and just take a minute to hug her and love her, or him or her, they, and just kind of embrace that for yourself. I hope that
Oh my
helps.
gosh, that feels beautiful. I got chills thinking of that too. And she said I'm a 2/4 emotional projector, if
Oh,
that means anything. It's like that hits even more with that emotional authority. Take that time and the projectorness, like we talked about before, when a projector stands in their power and holds that space, that creates the energy for the correct invitations.
that's lovely. Yeah.
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 Beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yay. Okay.
Okay, she
I,
said yes, yes. Let's talk about. And she said, "Thank you. You're so welcome,
you're
Christina.
very
Thank you
welcome.
for."
Yeah.
Oh, she said you're making me cry. Oh,
Oh, tears are always good, right?
yes, yes. Release
Please.
that. Sit with that. Feel it. Let it transmute.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's
Can I
do.
ask a
Oh,
TikTok question?
yeah, yes,
Because this is my first time ever doing a live.
yeah.
So somebody sent me a rose. What does that mean? And is there something I need to do with that?
Oh, that's just a little gift.
Oh,
They're just loving on you.
oh, thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Lee, for sending me that. That was quite lovely. The newbie over here, as you can tell. Okay, awesome. All right, next one. I'm ready.
Okay, gate 2 for Tyler.
Oh, gate two.
And then we'll do 61.2 for esoteric seeker. I love that name. I love people's names they come up with. Okay,
All
gate
right.
2.
So,
And Tyler is a mental projector as well.
okay. So just for people who are kind of popping in and on, just to let you know, we're doing Chiron and human design. Okay, two. So I would say for two, because it is the most feminine energy out of the entire chart, right? It's like, you're the person behind the scenes that can take an idea and really know how to carry it out, right? Um, it's also it's also about really learning to almost relax again and receive, because the divine feminine energy is that it is it's a very intuitive based. Anything in the divine feminine tips more into the divine, into the intuition. The more relaxation, the more flow, the more excitement of, oh, I want to do this. This comes out of the love and direction center. So I would say to heal that aspect, like if there's any aspect for you thinking that you're not here to bring things into fruition for people or to embrace that feminine side of yourself, because you really do know how to take things to completion. So you may be somebody who sits on this proverbial, oh, maybe I've got an idea, or I just don't know how to complete it. That may be the place that you always pause and stop, and you don't allow that flow to go through to give you the full permanence of like, no, 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 this is how we're going to do this. I'll be
Mm.
curious to know how that hits for that person.
Yeah, tell me how you're feeling about that, Lee. I mean, sorry, Tyler.
So many people.
Tyler, like my latest comment, Tyler's responding to Lee and it was messing with
Oh, okay. See, you're good. I'm glad they're all talking on on yours because I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yes. Okay, so I feel like just I mean tapping into Tyler's energy and Tyler's a friend as well. It's so fascinating the way that you said that with this receiving because I can really feel that with Tyler as well. Like moving to this place of allowing the receiving and allowing the love. He's also a vessel of love. Sorry, Tyler, I'm telling your business. But he's a vessel of love and he's so powerful.
Ah,
Um, like
does
his
he own it?
energy is so good, so
Yeah.
good. And so for this to be his Chiron, to be in this place with the vessel of love, it's like, man, like, yes. Um, just be in that G center, be in that love, like be in that connection space. And he's also the one who's like really he's been my biggest cheerleader on the mental projector book. Like
Uh,
he's always like, yes, like you would be good at this. You need to write this. Like let's get this going. Um which is perfect.
it's interesting. It would be interesting to know too. Has he experienced a lot of like compromise? Does he always feel like he has to compromise on things, or maybe the level of stress to like put things into reality? Is that
Hey,
something for
Mystic
him?
Savvy, welcome in. Tyler, I oh he said finishing projects is difficult.
Yeah. Um, and a lot of times it can feel like nobody's supporting them, I think, and that might be part of the Chiron for him, feeling like I don't have this support. Because I think sometimes if this placement in Chiron would be that maybe they don't know that they've got people behind them or energy behind it, and that they feel like somebody else needs to come and tell them and give them kind of the permission, like it's okay to keep moving forward on this idea. It's a great idea. Trust the divine, trust the reality of relaxing and receiving. So yeah, I would say that anytime I would tell my client that at any time that they had a two in Chiron, if you were ever stumbling on completing something, that's when you would need to call somebody who you know could gently push you through and say, you got this and it's needed and we need your energy in it. Even if everybody in the whole world's done it, we need you to do it.
Yes, okay. He said yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you heard it here, Tyler. And actually, Lee and I are always encouraging him to share his voice and his wisdom.
Ah,
Um,
there you go.
he said that sounds scary, which makes sense. But I'm here to say, Tyler, if you ever need somebody to be that push for you, you can send me a message.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yes, absolutely.
Hi,
I,
Jacob. Hi, Dawn Marie. If you guys know what your Chiron numbers are, go ahead and put them in the chat for human design. We're talking about the Chirons today. So go ahead. Sorry, didn't
Thank
interrupt you.
you for sharing yours, Tyler.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
that I hope, yeah, let us know how that felt for you. Okay, the other one we had 61.2 for our 5-1 generator friend. So that's 61, the gated details. No, sorry,
Mm,
not details. That's I went to 62 because of the point 2. It's the mystery and the crown.
hmm. 61 or 62? I'm sorry. I wasn't looking.
61, 61.
Well, I'll say that for this person, I would imagine that sometimes they probably feel like they're way out there. Because it's part of that knowing circuitry, right? So it's very you have a gate of wonder. You just can kind of know stuff, and it's like, and I always find that when I talk about the clairs with people, like looking at their human design chart, like if they want to know what their true spidey sense is, I used to teach a class called Spidey Senses through Human Design, because it shows, like I've said for a gazillion years, that everybody's got spidey senses. There isn't a person out there that isn't intuitive. But for this particular person, I would say that maybe you feel sometimes that um, you don't have the time to actually sit and be quiet. Again, this is another channel that's really, or gate that's really big on taking a moment to be silent and knowing that you just know things and you don't know how to know. it's frustrating for somebody who has this gate, because I'm sure there's been many times that they've known things and they've either told people and they didn't hear it, or they didn't trust themselves in their own knowing. And so sometimes, if this is your Chiron, it kind of gets pushed into the background maybe. And here's the thing, you don't have to explain how you know. And that usually frees somebody with this type of a Chiron number. You don't have to know how you know. What I would say is, to heal this part is that anytime you do have this knowing of something, get a book or use your phone, and it's only the space of how you know things. Put your date, put your time, and just write it out, because you're not here to tell people, hey, I'm right, I'm always right with this type of knowing thing. It actually will settle your own nervous system and your own belief in you do have this really beautiful way of knowing. And I would imagine this type of person might have, if they believed in past life regressions, it may have really been ostracized for having this deep knowing in a past life, and they bring it forward and they're kind of like, I'm not sharing what I know. And in reality, you are here to, give it some anchor, give it some place to breathe and to germinate. And sometimes writing it out, and then you come back the week later and you look through all the things that you felt like you knew, and you didn't know how you knew. And then all of a sudden watch it blossom up, and then watch people they'll learn to appreciate it if it's asked for. What do you think on that one?
Yes, this one is such a beautiful gate to me because it's so fascinating. Because it's that individual one in the crown. It's the individual energy, so it's meant to be very mutative. And so yeah, you're not gonna really understand how you know these things. And they
No.
did say sometimes things just come to me. So I
Yes.
was hitting with them. Yeah. This one is actually my moon, so it's fun to
Ah.
play with. But the shadow of it is psychosis, and that really hit me too, because it's like this one kind of spirals, and in the
Mm.
mystical, like, inspiration way, it's really cool because you can just like continuously be inspired, but you can see how it can shift to psychosis in a way where you just kind of get stuck in this inspiration, but then thinking that you've got to understand where it came from, and then communicate it effectively to people, and like it can be a lot. But really trusting that it doesn't matter where it came from. Like, this is a really important insight for you to share. It's a beautiful insight for you to share. And the silence that you were talking about, and the stillness as well, is really interesting. Like, when you can allow the silence around you, that creates space for the insight to come through, for the mystery to drop in, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's funny, you have that gate, and then I have 24.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, another one of our connection channels. I love it. That's okay. That's why we riff so well, I think. That might be part of it.
Probably. Hey, Nikki. Welcome. We are talking about Chiron. If you happen to know what your Chiron number is in your human design chart, you can drop it in the comments, and we will give you a little bit of info about the healing aspect of Chiron in human design.
Yes, yes. Esoteric Seeker, let us know how that landed for
Yes,
you.
please, 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 please.
Lee said he really resonates with that one as well.
Okay.
And I wonder, because Lee has the 2343, and it's part of that same. I feel like it, it's like those two are really like twins. I feel like they're
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 very similar, aren't they?
they're both gonna be seen as like kind of weird if people
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yes. I happen to have those too, so I get it. It's that
Yeah.
Aquarius energy, right? Which we're stepping into. So that's kind of cool.
Yes, I'm so excited about the Aquarius energy. Oh my gosh.
Yes, me too. Me
So
too.
excited about this shift.
Hmm.
Okay. They said it's resonating. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome. Ooh, Mystic Savvy's excited about this energy shift too. It's gonna be so good, isn't it? I'm just really looking forward to it. Okay, and Mystic Savvy's Chiron is gate 6. This is fun. Um, so we had 59, so now we have gate 6. That's
Mhm.
its channel partner coming off of the solar plexus. What comes to mind to you for this one?
Well, you know, to me, it's always about like, I happen to have this gate. It's not my Chiron, it's my gate. And so, I always find that when I'm in my low expression or my fear of this, I shut people out. I look at it as like this is an intimacy valve. And when you're in the mood to be intimate means connections. Sometimes it means sex, but it does mean like connections with other people too, right? That if I'm in the mood, look out. And so, as a Chiron, as this is the place that you're here to heal, is probably being really cognizant of, do you realize sometimes that you put that vault up and people can't make that connection with you? I always joke because I believe this is a Scorpio line. I could be wrong on that. Do not quote me, but I'm pretty sure it is. Most of my Scorpio friends have it.
Oh,
And
sorry.
six, what'd you say?
It's Virgo.
Oh, it's a Virgo. Okay. So what I always find about this one is like, this is how I look at it, and maybe this will help the person. I'm a visual person. I look at gate six as it's that big metal, when you're at the bank, the vault, it's the vault door. Okay. And that vault's wide open, right? When you're emotionally ready to connect with people, it feels amazing and people want to be with you and they want to connect with you. But if emotionally you feel out of balance, what's going to happen is that door is going to shut, and it can shut for quite a while. It's like it's a secret thing to try to get somebody else to be able to open that up, to say, hey, I didn't mean to scare you with it. Will you come out? Can we try it again? So I think and this is just my own personal experience with it. What do you think of six?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is bringing some insights for me personally. This is great. Okay, so she says, yes, 100%. I do that all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Yes. Yes. So that does make sense because it is the gate of friction, right? Like it's poking out to like see where the intimacy can happen.
Hmm.
And so the shadow is that conflict, which makes sense. If you're poking people, like if it's the right kind of poke, it's a lot of fun. But if it's not, then it
Yeah.
goes south.
Yeah. And so I always think like then for Chiron would be to be cognizant of like, it's okay to let people connect with you. You do have a choice. And to know that if you choose not to connect with people, that be mindful of how long you keep that vault door shut.
Mm.
Because there might be some emotional healing with other people that might need to channel through that.
And that's the part that really hit me. I have this gate as well.
Yeah.
And there's one of my biggest things I'm learning is the times that I totally shut myself out. It's like heading away. I'm like, leave me alone.
Yep.
But then like the whole time, like, why am I so alone?
You gotta love human design, man.
Yes, yes.
So much we learn about ourselves is ridiculous. Yeah.
um so yeah, she says, I love that. I
Okay,
love
good.
that. That's so
Good, good,
fun.
good. That's awesome.
And she's a 2-4 generator. I'm looking back, so
Oh, she's a 2-4 generator.
yeah.
Well, and that's interesting because of that two aspect, right? She likes to be a hermit. So that's very interesting. And that's her Chiron
Yeah.
is six. Okay. That kind of puts another whole level of um sorry, I can only do one thing at a time. You're learning that about me.
Okay, it's all good. Yeah, no, that is interesting too, because that too can tend to be quite the hermit. And so
Oh,
if you're hurt, it's like forget it.
well, and that four aspect too. I mean, although, you know, with a four, you like to be with people, but not all the time. And as a 2-4, I find that to be very true. Like all my best friends, my son is a 2-4, right? And so I can see why maybe that Chiron's there for to learn that emotional balance. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
would say that probably in their past life, that was their biggest wound, is that they tried to make a connection with somebody, maybe the love of their life, and it got smacked out of them, and they kind of carried the bitterness of not having that intimacy valve got turned off. It's just one possibility. There's millions, right?
Yeah, she said yes, I feel that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That hits. This is so cool. I can't believe I've never like gone down the rabbit hole of Chiron before. I'm having so much fun with this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, I haven't gotten any more gates
Okay.
just yet. She
Okay.
said thank you with a heart.
You're very welcome. This is fun. Very fun.
Um,
Yeah, I find that even when I do like my business coaching with human
oh,
design, looking at their Chiron always helps me, because I can see where they're possibly could always be stumbling. Not only there's the other areas like the spleen I'm always looking at too for them, but
yes.
Chiron's a big one. It was a huge one for me in my business. What is mine? I already forgot mine already. I have a table. You always have them all in your head. I have to always constantly look at my stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sticks. Like once I see it, usually. But okay, Tyler said we all love to hear what's blocking us. It's true. Like that helps so much. Victoria, my plan is I've never done like a co-hosted live, but I know with my regular lives I can download it. So I'm hoping that we can still download this and then maybe we
Oh,
can put it up on YouTube. Victoria's asking if this will be available to rewatch. So that is the plan. Yes, Victoria.
okay. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know we could do that either. I'm learning all kinds of things today.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody that's joined my channel, if you know your Chiron, pop in the number.
We have one here for gate 8. That's a good one. And then
Okay.
another one for gate 22. Thank you so much for hanging out, Lee. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Mhm. So gate eight's the next one.
Yes, gate 8. That self-expression. Oh.
I mean,
Hi, Sandra. We are chatting about Chiron. We're chatting about our Chiron gates in human design. So we're just about to talk about gate 8 for our friend Goofy Goobers.
love the name.
Yes,
Love it. Love it.
yes. And they're a 2-4 Manigen.
2-4 Manny Jen.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think on this one?
Hold on, let
Take
me
the
look.
lead, woman. I feel like I've been just talking, talking, talking.
No, it's great. It's great. Okay. Okay. So this gate 8, the self-expression, again, part of the individual channel. We've got a lot of individual energy happening. So this one is all about style. It's about self-expression. It's about you being you and letting that shine. The shadow here is mediocrity. So kind of hiding and being normal. And if you're a 2-4 Manigen, you've got some sparkly energy. Like you're here to be a lot of fun and to share that goodness with the rest of us. And so the more that you can express that aspect of you, the more it actually lights up the whole world. But I imagine there's just been a lot that's made you feel like you have to dampen all of that energy and keep it really small when really you're here to be like the shiniest ball of glitter.
I love it. Shiny color. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I would say the same thing, that you really need to create a world where you being authentic and showing up authentic, which probably scares a crap because they're a 2-4. 2-4s don't necessarily like to come out of that hole. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You really do. You like to be cocooned in. But when you do get pulled out, to express, like, because it's innate within you. But if you're healing this aspect for yourself, right? Because we're talking about Chiron. The question I would ask is, do you have a dream that you've really been compromising? Because you might have
Mm.
compromised in the past before because you were trying to be authentic, right? And there's aspects of your life that you still hide, possibly. And to know that the whole world if this is in your Chiron, you're here to learn how to express that, what it is that you love. Hey, this is who I am, and I'm free to express who I am. It's going to feel really cringy to a 2-4, but it also is a thing that you came here to figure out how to do in the safety and the comfort of being also a hermit, right?
Yes. Yes. I love that question. I'm curious, like, is there a dream that you've put on the back burner? Um, Tyler called him a disco ball. Like that's a great expression. Yes. And then okay, so Goofy Goober says, I like to be weird by myself, not so much with others for fear of judgment. So it
There we
feels
go.
like that's hitting. Yeah.
1,000%.
Oh, and she said several. Or sorry, they said several. The profile picture is a cute little pup. So
Okay.
um so yeah, so there has been dreams on the back burner. Okay, so this is huge. Like, yes, this is part of your expression here on this planet to allow yourself to bring those dreams to fruition and to let them shine.
And to let go of judgment of other people might be doing the things that you're doing. You might tap into that a little bit because this is your Chiron. It might be like it's easy for you to judge from the comfort of what you're doing. So therefore that's why you're judging yourself, or vice versa. You're judging yourself, and so therefore you have to. So it's this whole judgment aspect, like allowing yourself to be really comfortable with, like, it's safe to be you completely. It's safe for you to move forward onto that dream. And that when you hear your own judgment coming up, you need to soften it. You need to talk to it and say, listen, that's the old me. And I brought this in to heal this time. Let's just try it and see what happens. And as a 2-4, I can guarantee you, anybody who runs into it, they're gonna love it, because 2-4s are, in my opinion, I love 2-4s. I
Okay.
because when I'm communing with them, they're out of their cave. When they're by themselves, so I don't know them. They're totally different
Yeah.
people when they're by themselves.
2-4s are fascinating. So my kid's dad is a 2-4 generator. My oldest son is a 2-4 projector.
Okay.
So I do, like, I totally own it. I tell people this all the time. If I run into a 2-4 generator, I have to like consciously move through my judgment of them, because I'm like, everything just works out for you and it's such so perfect and you're just so good and everything messes up for me. And like I have all that projection on my ex-husband. It's like, okay,
Oh,
what?
that's so interesting.
Right. So I have to like calm down for a second, be like, not everybody's like that. It's fine.
That's really interesting. I've never heard of anybody describe it like my son's a 2-4 reflector. So
Oh,
that's been interesting too.
yeah. But
What?
when you were talking about the judgment, it kind of hit me too. I just got this image of the disco ball, right? And part of it, if we think about Goofy Goobers, if we think about your energy, like as a Manny Gen, I always feel like it's such a big, beautiful
It
energy. Like from the
is.
outside, it's like I just love it so much.
Yes, me
And
too.
so when the light hits the disco ball, the disco ball doesn't absorb that light. It refracts it. And that's what starts the party, right? Like that's what's fun about a disco ball. So it's almost like when those judgments hit you, can you refract those judgments out? Because it really has nothing to do with you, especially when we're thinking about this self-expression aspect. When somebody shows up authentically in this like unique, amazing way, plus your name on here is Goofy Goobers. Like how fun is that, right? People are going to be triggered, like the same way I get triggered with my ex-husband, right? Because I'm like, "Bleh, you're just everything works out," right? People are going to be triggered because they're jealous, because they're like, well, I'm not allowed to be myself, so you shouldn't be yourself. Simmer down. But no, that's not how it works. And the more that you show up and you be that disco ball and you refract that light, the more people get excited. And then it switches to, oh, look at them being themselves. That makes me want to be myself. Look how good they're doing that. That looks so much fun. I want to do that. And then it all comes together.
That was perfect. Holy cow, that was good. And I love that because that, you like what you said, that's what a 2-4 can do. Once the 2-4 does it, it just seems seamless.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes,
Mm,
it's fascinating.
okay.
Hi, Miriam. Welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. We got Miriam. She's a 2-4 mental projector. We're talking about Chiron, Miriam. Also, real quick, since you're here, I'm going to answer your email after this. Okay, so yes. So Goofy Goober said maybe they should shimmer up. They should. They should.
Heck yeah.
Amy, yeah.
Heck yeah. I love that.
Switch that energy, friend.
Switch it, switch it.
Awesome. This has been so much fun.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. We'll have to come on and hit another topic again.
Yes. Okay. Britt says, my best friend is a 2-4, and this is so true. Isn't it, though? It makes me happy for my son because he's a projector and he's such a genius. And so I watch him and I'm like, oh, he'll be good. Like once he gets in his space and around his people, it'll be fine. And now that he's in college, it's like starting to come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Like once they do get around their right people. Yeah, it's funny because my best friend since kindergarten is a 2-4. She's a generator 2-4. And the older her and I get, the more of her innate ability to she's got a lot of knowing in her chart, spiritual knowing. She doesn't really study anymore. Like her and I were on this journey together and she just like absorbed it all and she was just like done. Almost like a monk, right? Like absorbed all this information and then you can just go to her and she'll just know the answer to stuff. And I'm like, God, that is amazing because she took the time in her younger years to study it. That too, that goes into their whatever they're naturally good at. She took a few things and read a few books and then all of a sudden she just emanates this like, almost like a 6. I don't, although she's not, she probably has a lot of 6 lines in her, I have to look at that now. See if she's got a lot of 6 lines in her design because she seems very wise to me. But I always find 2-4s can be very wise.
Yes. Yes.
Do you
Especially
see
my
that?
kid. I swear my kid was born with the wisdom of an 85-year-old. Like he's
See,
never
yeah,
been a kid.
yeah, and yes, exactly. That's the way my kid was too. And I think it's just because it's that too. They just come in with this innate wisdom. Yeah, they just do. It's kind of interesting.
It is. It's really interesting to observe.
Yeah.
Super interesting. And then even like with my kid's dad, just seeing like knowing the kind of trauma he went through as a kid and how he's really shut himself off. And it's been interesting observing that from the human design perspective
Yeah.
and how sensitive that too really can be.
Mm. Yeah, I've never thought about that in that way, just because he's a reflector.
Yeah.
He's sensitive. Yeah. Any other Chirons rolling through?
We got a 5-2 split projector with Chiron in the third. The third gate. In the sacral.
Tis.
It's another part of the individual circuitry. Very interesting.
I mean, I call it transmutation. What do you call this gate?
The human design name is ordering.
Ordering?
Yeah. The I Ching is difficulty at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the thing that irritates them sometimes can be that thing that they're going to actually solve, right? They'll figure it out because the irritant can be too much, but it pulsates kind of on and off. Wait,
Yeah.
is it coming off the root? Well, if it's connected to 60, it pulsates. I would say that some of the divine or the Chiron healing would be to know the divine timing, like to trust the sacral of when it is time to try to share an idea of or make an impact or solve the thing that's in front of you that's like irritating for you. Almost like asking yourself too, if there is something that you are really cognizant that I would say because it's Chiron, maybe you know what it is that is the biggest irritant that you're like, this, the way this is operating, the way this is doing, and it could be in anything. It could be a product, it could be an ideal, it can be a philosophy, but something that would be constantly in your face, I would say, because it's your Chiron like, and you're always like, God, this is the worst part of society, or this is the worst part of rah, rah, rah. Like whatever you're crunching about, I would say that that's probably something that there might be a theme through what it is that you're crunchy about. And you're here to kind of heal, like, how do I take this idea and bring it to the forefront? How do I share and express it? How do I get it to a heightened solution or probability so that it can be shared with the world? And I feel like, it shifted, it flipped. Does that make any sense? What do you think on that one?
Okay, I'm curious, Sandra, tell us how you're feeling about that so far. And then, real quick, Ariana, we are talking about the Chiron placement in human design. Ariana said she just got her chart and she's just starting to learn human design, which is awesome.
Good.
So, we are talking about the Chiron. It's not usually talked about in human design. So, we're bringing it to light. Okay, yeah, this gate 3, this ordering, like creating order out of chaos. Really, really interesting energy because you're right. It's this pulsating, this like mutation of start, stop. So knowing when to jump into the chaos to create the order is kind of what's hitting me too. You know what just popped in my mind?
Well,
The like double Dutch jump rope.
okay. Tell me about that.
Like when you're standing outside, when you're the one doing the jumping or standing outside, you've got to know when to jump in or else you're going to get smacked in the face.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That is good. And that's a great one for 3. I will always remember that now. And I would also want to know, does that person experience a lot of melancholy? Because I think
Oh,
it's,
yeah, that's a good question too. Yes. Ariana, it should show up on mine if you run your chart on my website. So Sandra says, I feel my crunchy thing is so big that I can't change it.
there we go. There's the Chiron. It's so big that you feel like you can't change it.
Yes. And then
Okay.
also, she said, I always have a hard time starting things. And then she said, unfortunately, yes. So we asked a question, but I already forgot it. But her answer was yes.
Okay. Is she a generator? Did she
Splenic projector.
splenic projector? Okay.
So
All
that
right.
feels even more poignant a little bit to me. Oh, 5-2 splenic projector. So we've got all these projections, anterior projector, and the splenic. Okay. Okay. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You got something. Go, go, go.
No, it's just like all these projections with the 5-2 and being a projector, there's a lot of projections happening. And so I feel like that could have dampened a lot of your intuition, a lot of your knowingness, a lot of your standing in your like speaking your truth as the guide you're meant to be. But that splenic one too, the spleen is very, very quiet. And so for that to be your authority, to trust that in the moment, and then to have gate 3 as your Chiron, where it's really learning about the timing and the ordering. I know that's what hit me. And then I just realized what you asked about the melancholy. Does that person? Yes. Okay. The yes answer was for the melancholy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I would always say that, listen, the Chiron part, like here can be the new marker for you is when the melancholy hits. First of all, emotions need to be expressed in a way that we feel safe in them and that we're not putting a story behind it. So when you're feeling that melancholy, what I would tell you is give yourself a moment to recognize now, wait a minute, is this, you're the one exception I would say, try to figure out, is the melancholy attached to something that is making you crunchy that you realize there's something that you could be changing or offering or doing? And you have that fear to walk through it with it all, because that way you'll be able to distinguish when you're feeling sadness. What is it? What is it? The sadness because I'm not moving forward on this thing. That's going to be part of your healing of that, to know that you're safe enough to trust your spleen to say, it's time, honey. It's time to solve this. It's time to make note of this, to move through it. Because I think in anything, and I'm getting chills on this, because the minute you go through that for yourself, whew, You know,
Yeah.
three is the one that can, your innovation can help others. And not that that pressure needs to be put upon you. It doesn't. It naturally just will help others. So give yourself that safety place to start to work through that for yourself.
Yeah, that one hit. She said, "Ooh." And I
Yeah,
could
I'm
feel it
still
over
getting
here too.
s-
Yeah.
still getting chills on that. That doesn't stop. This is huge for you, and I really hope that you take the time to even read a little bit more about three and study it for yourself, and like what gorgeous Rebecca was saying about learning how to trust that spleen of yours, because that timing, because you're a protector, that splenic energy will really help you to say, it's, let's work through this now. We're ready. We're ready. And you might need someone outside to help you, by the way.
Yeah, especially with the left angle, the 5-2. She said chills over here too, and I will.
Okay, good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful. That one, oh my gosh, I could feel the shift on that one.
Yeah, that felt good.
She said, "Thank you so much. You're so welcome,
Well,
Sandra. You're so welcome." Yeah, look at the gate 3, dig into that if you can with the gene keys as well. Like
yeah,
looking in the shadow aspect
yeah,
and the gift to know how to switch. That's what I love about the gene keys. To switch it just a little bit, but to have the understanding of the shadow of the gate, but also the gift expression of the gate, because it's usually just a simple, like the line between is so thin, so it's just kind of a quick energy shift to help you get out of it. When I can identify that shadow, which gate 3 is chaos,
yeah,
and we're talking about that melancholy as well, but
yeah,
the gift is innovation, and you can see how
yeah,
innovation can come out of chaos so well. So
yeah.
being able to identify it can help shift.
I
So
think my favorite part of the Gene Keys, and this might be helpful for her, is that as she reads about three, he always writes in about the reactive and the repressed emotion of the shadow. That always hits people. Like when I'm working one on one with clients, that's the thing that always hits them the most with the Chiron. They're like, oh, yeah, I can see myself. And I said, that's the cool part, because then you realize, oh, I'm just repressing what I'm actually supposed to be moving through, right? Yeah, that he's amazing too. Whole systems, both the systems are amazing. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yes, they're beautiful. I love it. Oh my gosh, what a fun conversation.
It's been fun.
Yes, so much depth and wisdom shared. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's willing to share their Chiron
Yes.
placement and kind of put their wound out there to share. Because it does, like when you choose to be vulnerable and share your story and share your wound, it can help everybody, even if
Yeah.
they don't have that same exact wound. Like Lee was saying with the other one, he's like, I resonate so much with this one. So
So true. And we're all here to heal, right? And we're all here to support each other in that. Because there isn't a person that isn't walking on the planet that doesn't have a Chiron. So we all have got something. And it makes us want to be kinder to other people and kinder to ourselves. You know, we never know what someone's going through in the day, right? We never know what people are experiencing in the moment. And I always remind myself that when I get somebody on the line, like I was just talking to somebody on the line for health insurance stuff, and she was cranky, cranky, cranky. And instinctively, I wanted to like, rah, you know what I mean? And I thought to myself, I don't know her story. I don't know what she's going through. I just can only give her kindness. So I did a little ho'oponopono while she was talking to me, and I let it go. But I think that's important for all of us to realize, especially since we're talking about Chiron. Be gentle with yourself and be gentle with other people, right? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. This has been awesome.
absolutely. Ariana popped back on. I just wanted to show her real quick. If you find this like
Oh,
key looking symbol, that's what the Chiron is. And it will tell you the number there.
yeah. This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I thanks for experimenting with me on this
Yeah.
one.
Yes. I freaking love it.
I'm so
Very cool.
excited. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
I will chat with you soon. I'm sure we'll make
Okay.
a plan to do more of these.
Absolutely.
And I love you. Thank you so much for
I love you
hanging out.
too. I love you.
Talk to you
Okay. I'll
later.
talk to you later. Bye. I
Bye.
don't know how to stop this. I'll figure it out.
It should be at the top right. There's the little like power button.
Thank you. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, there it is.